under the umbrella of Islamabad International Counter-Terrorism Forum 2018, organized under the able auspices of the National Counter-Terrorism Authority, Government of Pakistan. This forum has been organized to celebrate Pakistan's endeavors and achievements in countering extremism and terrorism. It has been organized to celebrate our journey of peace. I would like to extend a special note of gratitude to the speakers and participants from Pakistan and countries other than Pakistan for their participation and presence here today. It is their unwavering support that gives this nation the hope of claiming back its true narrative of resilience, of optimism, development, harmony, and peace. We live in a world where countries all over have suffered casualties from terrorism, where extremism and violence have pervaded every corner of the globe and touched millions of lives to devastating effect. As a global problem, terrorism demands a solution built on strength of unified will and international coordination. Pakistan, as a nation, has already contributed significantly towards promoting peace, and we hope to continue doing so by working with those who have suffered as we have from terrorism and those who are at the risk of suffering towards the achievement of lasting global peace. Through this forum, we manifest our support of peace efforts, and we not only share our stories but listen and learn from the experiences of other countries who have successfully dealt with terrorism. Countries with a far longer history than Pakistan's and with centuries worth of experience in one form or the other of terror have struggled in eradicating this modern incarnation. Pakistan has had a couple of decades to cope with and to overcome the challenges it has had to face as a relatively young nation. But now you are undoubtedly well versed in many challenges faced by Pakistan, both internally and externally in the aftermath of 9/11. But in spite of the oft overwhelming trials we have endured over the past few decades, ranging from internal disturbances, vicious attacks of terror, and an unruly influx of refugees to wide-scale temporary displacement from counter-terrorism efforts and natural disasters, Pakistan has remained steadfast in its commitment to fighting against terrorism at national, regional, and global level. Pakistan's story of courage, perseverance, and resilience shows in the efforts of everyday people like Ahsan Iqbal, who, a teenager, stopped a suicide bomber from taking away 700 innocent lives in a school with an act of bravery that stripped him of his own life. These brave souls are the unsung heroes of Pakistan, who stand united with the state, the parliament, the judiciary, the media, the women and the youth, and security agencies of Pakistan and institutions of Pakistan in fighting terrorism and extremism. The numerous efforts taken by the federal government, provincial government, civil and military institutions as a result of policy initiatives such as National Action Plan, Operation Rad al-Fasad, to defeat terrorism are only some of the labors undertaken by Pakistan as a whole to curb the menace of terrorism in its territories. Countless statutory amendments and administrative actions have also been undertaken to choke terrorists financially and administratively. This, of course, is in addition to the battle on ground waged by brave Pakistani soldiers, policemen, and citizens against terrorist outfits. The establishment of National Counter-Terrorism Authority, its constant efforts and dedication in the field is another testament to Pakistan's sincerity and hard work in combating terrorism. Not only the state, but all actors in Pakistan stand united in the cause of bringing peace home. Religious leaders have pleaded to spread the message of tolerance and respect, while women have stood up to claim their narrative in support of peace and harmony. The civil society in its entirety has raised its voice for moderation in exposing and countering the narrative of radicalization being propagated by terrorist organizations at various forums. Pakistan has taken countless measures to strategically and tactically address the menace of terrorism. We have raised the issues in various forums, including United Nations. We have signed numerous bilateral, regional, multilateral treaties on combating terrorism, and we have taken difficult but necessary decisions in terms of foreign and internal policies. We have, in effect, become a thorn in our enemy's paw. This conference, however, has been organized to not only shine light on the long and hard journey Pakistan has had in transforming itself from victim of terror to a victor over terrorism, but also to bring attention to the need for translating its hope for peace into reality. In light of Pakistan-China Economic Corridor and other regional connectivity initiatives, Pakistan now looks towards a prosperous future as a developing nation emerging from the shackles of terrorism to be economically and internally strong, and as a hub for trade, transportation, and transit, and as a platform for regional prosperity. For this purpose, the Islamabad International Counterterrorism Forum will be an annual feature by the government of Pakistan, so that the success measures of Pakistan's endeavors and achievements against countering extremism and terrorism may be gauged, reviewed, and revised annually in light of global experiences and best practices shared by international subject matter experts. And I would also like to request our very honorable, distinguished guests who have participated in this forum to please share their suggestions for the theme of the next year's International Counterterrorism Forum, which can be decided in advance so that we can make preparations for the next year forum in light of the theme that you will propose. I hope we will all unite in our efforts to combat terrorism and extremism even more so than we have in the past. Because even though Pakistan has come out of the shadows of being a victim, it still has a considerable journey to take before it can claim for itself victory against terrorism and extremism. But this is a journey that we are keen to embark on, and with the help of our fellow countries, we foresee a future not too far off where terrorism as we know it today may be a problem of the past. But let me in the end say that terrorism or war against terrorism is a global challenge. Terrorism is not a local phenomenon. Just as we have global networks, we have McDonald's that symbolizes the globalization of fast food. We have Mac Terror that symbolizes the growing networking and globalization of terrorism that is spreading in all regions of the world. So if it is a global threat, then collaboration is the way forward. We cannot defeat terrorism by blame games, by pointing fingers. We have to find platforms for collaboration so that we all can work together to defeat terrorism. Terrorism cannot be fought without diffusing conflicts. We discussed before also that one of the hotbeds for extremism and terrorism is conflict zones. And it was pointed out that most of the areas where terrorism is today playing havoc are the areas where there are conflicts. So if we really want to address the issue of terrorism, we need to also understand the causes. We cannot just be applying band-aid solutions or some symptomatic treatment. We have to also cure the causes of conflict so that we are permanently addressing the issue of terrorism. And in our country, we face pressed against two conflicts, to our west and to our north. Conflict in Afghanistan poses challenges for us to defeat terrorism, and growing international community is blindfolded, also poses serious challenges for our society to diffuse extremism in this region. Inclusive approach is the only way forward to defeat terrorism, and that means that regional peace is tied to addressing legitimate peace concerns of all parties. Afghanistan needs peace, this region needs peace, but if we try to address Afghanistan only by factoring in the security concerns of United States and Afghanistan, not realizing the implications on other countries' security, there will be no workable solution. We need a broader framework, at least in this region, where Pakistan's, Afghanistan's, and United States and other international security forces present in Afghanistan, their security legitimate concerns are addressed simultaneously. That will bring a more cohesive, inclusive approach towards peace in this region. Similarly, international community has a responsibility to see that if India is not promoting peace process in this region, what will be the implications of any hostility and conflict in this region where there are two nuclear countries. So therefore, we need to have a more inclusive and regional approach towards addressing the concerns. And finally, we should understand that terrorism is not just about groups or people in organizations. Technology has empowered every citizen in more than many ways, where one person is enough to shake the order. We have seen it in so many ways. So we have to understand what are the causes that bring intolerance due to extremism. Why? I agree, extremism is a major curse and a major contributor towards terrorism. But what generates extremism? Extremism is intolerance. And how does intolerance come? It comes with prejudice and sense of injustice. When people's minds are prejudiced, their rationality is shunned. When people believe that they are denied justice and they cannot get justice, they become desperate, and that pushes them towards extreme positions. So how do we address prejudice and injustice? Only by promoting understanding and engagement. More engagement and more understanding is key to bringing down the walls of prejudice and injustice and which lead to irrational behavior. So I hope that this conference will make a very useful contribution for us, and NECTA will share the proceedings of this conference not just with the participants but also with other community. And I look forward that next year's Islamabad Counter-Terrorism Forum will set even higher standards of success, and we look forward to see you again next year back in Islamabad, and also many more experts who will join us. In the end, I would like to thank the Prime Minister for gracing this occasion, and also his presence makes a statement that this challenge is a challenge to which we all take very seriously. And the presence of representatives from opposition today also speak that we may have different voices in politics, but when it comes to fighting terrorism, we are one nation and we are one voice. Pakistan Zindabad.